Hello and welcome to Todd Talk, where insight meets inspiration. I'm your host, Todd Hiller. I'm an author, speaker, and longtime community leader, here to guide you on a journey towards fulfillment and balance. In every episode, we'll explore ways to fill life's emptiness, helping you uncover practical tools to create harmony, purpose, and happiness. Whether it's thriving in your career, nurturing personal growth, or simply finding joy in the everyday, Todd Talk is your space for real conversations and actionable advice. So let's thrive together, personally, professionally, and beyond. This is Todd Talk, and I'm thrilled to have you here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Todd Talk. Today I want to talk to you about something that has been on my mind a lot lately, and it's been on my mind enough that the other day I sat down and kind of started writing about it to just put my thoughts in order because I had all these ideas swimming around in my brain about this one particular thing. And in the intro to this podcast, I talk about how to find joy in the everyday as well as in your personal life and your professional life. And this is something I think that really brings out the idea of finding the goodness in every day and finding the important part of every day. And one of the things that you can hopefully take with you to push yourself to enjoy the current moment a little bit more maybe than you have in the past, or if you're having a tough day, to find positive things to focus on, or if you're having a not so tough day, to find one more thing to be grateful about. And that thing that I want to talk about is something that is so broad and so deep that we could spend an entire series, I think, not just one episode on it, but we're going to start with one episode for now, and maybe we'll dive deep in another episode, or we'll go off some comments and maybe pick it apart a little bit more. But I want to, before we start, I want to remind you that no matter how hard we try, no matter how hard we wish, no matter how hard we hope, no matter what amount of money we try to pay someone to bribe them, we cannot go backwards into the past, and we cannot go forwards into the future. All we have right now is the present moment. No matter how hard you think about the past, you can never go back. And I don't just mean 10 or 15 years ago. I mean 5 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 2 days, 5 days, 6 months, a year. We can never go backwards. And we also can't go forwards. We can't live out tomorrow today because we want to just get it over with. We can't live out tomorrow today because we're looking forward to something. All we have right now is the present moment. And maybe the reason they call it the present is because it is truly a gift. But I want to remind you and encourage you to look at that, what's right in front of you, and think about that. And what we're going to talk about in this episode is what I have basically and very simply just called the middle. And the middle is the place where we enjoy. And the middle is the place, unfortunately, sometimes where we get lost. So I want to encourage you all to enjoy the middle a little bit more, because everything we do has a beginning, a middle, and an end, no matter what it is. And the tricky part is that we know when something begins. Obviously, we know when it starts. We know when we start something new, or a relationship begins, or a friendship begins, or a movie begins, or a baseball game, whatever it is. We know where the beginning is. We know where the end is, but we don't know where the end is until it ends. And so the middle is the part that is really kind of tricky, because without knowing when something will end, we don't know at what point we get to when it suddenly becomes the middle. It's no longer new. It's no longer the beginning. It's no longer brand new. It's not the end yet. It's this world of the middle, of the enjoyment part of it, or sometimes, unfortunately, the routine and the mundane. And we fall into this trap where we think that we're just going to do the same thing over and over every single day. And having a routine can be a good thing, but something becoming routine doesn't necessarily always bring you to a place you want to be. It doesn't always end up being a good thing. Because if you have a morning routine, that's a good thing. Humans, we as people, need routines. It's what helps us get going in the morning. It's what helps us stay on track. It helps kids a lot with lots of different aspects of their school day, as us as adults of our work day. So having a routine is okay. But something becoming routine, or something in your life becoming mundane and monotonous and routine, and the only reason you do it is because you know that it's part of your quote-unquote necessary items to do, and they've become that mundane routine. That's when we start to get to a point where maybe it's not necessarily all that helpful or all that good. So if we don't know when something will end, we don't know when we get to the middle. And it's that not knowing that allows us both the freedom and the restriction that comes with any journey that we find ourselves on. Because we find ourselves saying, if I knew it was going to end, I would have done X. If I knew it was going to end, I would have worked harder, or I would have been better. I would have worked harder on myself. If I knew it was going to end, I would have called more often or put more hours in on that thing I wanted to accomplish. If I knew it was going to end so soon, I would have said I love you, or said I don't love you, or maybe said I will always love you sooner than I did, or maybe I never did at all. But without knowing when the end will come, we don't know what to consider the middle, and we also don't know when it's almost over or when it's about to end. And that can be tricky, and it can also be scary, and it can be really hard to navigate, because sometimes we want a bad situation to end and to be over quickly, but with good situations and loving situations and things that make us happy, we don't want to see them end. And even things that we do normally as part of our day that have just become part of our identity because they're part of us and part of what we do and what we have come to do with our time as adults and as working people, and even as students or young people or young professionals, if we don't know when it's going to end, we both fear it and worry about it at the same time as we ignore it, I think. Sometimes we say, oh gosh, this is so good. I love this person. I love this relationship. I love this instance. I love this job. I love this house, whatever it is. You love that season of your life and you don't want it to end. But part of you, I think, subconsciously knows that it will end someday, and maybe you worry a little bit about it. But the tricky part is that if you don't know when the end will come, all you have at that point is the beginning, and you wonder where you are in the middle. So while you are in the middle, take the time to enjoy the things you're doing. While you're in the middle, take the time to do the things that you love and that you want to do. And if you're having a tough day where you're stuck on something and you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling angry or you're feeling resentful, take the time to look fully and wholly at that and say, hey, listen, I'm not in a good place right now, but this is the part I need to enjoy. This is the part I need to find the time to work on the things I want to work on. This is the time in the middle when I need to find time to do the things that will make me feel happy and get me to a place where I say, oh, I don't want this to end, instead of, oh my God, I can't wait for this to end. And there's some freedom in that. There's some freedom in knowing that you can bring yourself to a place where you can change the narrative of your life. And you can change the script to where most of the things you spend your time on and most of your seasons of life have that dread of the end, because you are in a happy place, in a happy season. And that's the goal. Work on things, work on tough things, undertake difficult tasks that make you feel good and like you've accomplished something, and things you find meaningful, because that is what will bring you true meaning when it comes to what you're spending your time on. So don't waste the middle. Don't start something and then just hope, oh God, I can't wait till this ends. I hope it's over soon. If that's the narrative you're in and that's the place you're in, once something begins, use your time, your energy, your mind, your resources, your networking, whatever it is, your skills. Use all that to switch the middle to a place where you don't want it to end anymore, because the part you are in right now is something you really love and really enjoy. And I know it sounds easy for me to say just into my microphone, but it's not impossible. Yes, it can be difficult, but it's so worth doing. If you spend all of your time in the middle of whatever it is you're doing, and all you have is this underlying hope that it's over soon, that's no way to live. See, everything we do in our entire life, someday we will do for the last time, and we never know it. So often we never know it. Someday we will pick up our children for the last time. Someday we'll push them on the swing for the last time. We'll fold their favorite princess dress or dinosaur sweatshirt for the last time. But there's no guidebook to the last, and there is no reference section for the middle. So knowing that, I want you to make time for everything you find meaningful. Please hear me when I say that. We only get to do this once. We don't get to go back and redo life. We can't hit rewind. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we cannot go backwards. We cannot go to the past. We cannot walk ourselves to any place except where we are right this moment. And every moment is fleeting. Every moment ends. So if you don't make the most of the moments you're in, what will you have at the end of the day when the end finally rolls around? You'll either have this huge sigh of relief that, oh, God, thank God it's finally over. But if you're in that place, when you look back, you won't have enjoyed the middle, and maybe you didn't even enjoy the beginning. Or once it's over, you will have this really long face and this really giant sigh that you heave and let out and realize that you didn't absorb and you didn't enjoy all the things that were happening in the middle when they were happening, and now they're never going to happen again. And when you do that, when you find time for all the things you find meaningful, there's a good chance that that will mean a lot of new beginnings. And please hear me when I tell you that's okay. You don't need to say that I can only have one job, one career, one favorite song, one favorite show, one favorite movie, one favorite dance with my spouse or significant other. That's not the case. You can have so many new beginnings. Let's face it, we as adults have all been in more than one relationship. Typically, we have all been in more than one season of our life. Most of us have had more than one job. That's okay. Starting new things and having new beginnings isn't something to dread. It's something to look forward to, because that means two things. One, it means that you recognized that whatever you were in before that, whatever came to an end, you realized it was time for it to end, and maybe you found a way to end it because you knew it wasn't meant to continue any longer. If you were worried about the end and you dreaded the end and you didn't want it to end, but it had to end anyway for whatever reason, or it ended and you didn't necessarily want it to, you need to pick up and move on and go ahead towards that new beginning and celebrate the new beginning and celebrate the chance to do something meaningful and spend your time on something beautiful that really brings you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, and a lot of that meaningful importance in your own life and the belief that you are doing something worth your time. I think everyone listening right now can probably raise their hand if I said how many people listening right now have ever been stuck doing something they didn't necessarily want to spend their time on. I think we could all put our hands up. We could all raise our hands. Some of us could keep them raised for a very long time. But every new beginning is a chance for you to walk into something that you like doing and you enjoy doing, and let something that you don't enjoy doing fade and pass over and end up in the past and be put to bed and just be done and over with. Because what I don't want anyone to do is I don't want you to get to be 85 years old and turn around and look back and realize that you lived your whole life waiting for the end to show up and wondering what to do with the middle. And that's the other tricky part about the middle. If you don't know when the end is going to show up and you don't know when the end is going to roll around and you don't know when something is going to be over, we spend so much time wondering and worrying about what to do in the middle because we are just stuck frozen focusing on, oh God, is this going to be the last time? It's been said that there are two types of people when it comes to the things in our lives that we see. Some people see the thing they want, and other people see the thing or things that stand in the way of what they want. And I think when it comes to living in the middle and the things you are spending your time on, the people who just focus on what's in their way kind of stare straight ahead and wonder when the end is going to show up, and they miss everything that happens in the middle because they're just so worried about when the end is coming. Don't worry about it. Most often, we don't know when the end is going to show up. And even if it's unexpected, if you are living well and doing things that you find meaningful and doing things that make you happy and that bring you joy, even if the end happens to show up abruptly out of nowhere, you can at least say that all the while you were in the middle, you were doing things you found joyful and that brought you a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of comfort. And that's the goal. I've talked to so many people about how to draw happiness out of every single day. People say, you're such a happy person. Like, do you ever have a bad day? And yes, the answer is, of course I have bad days. Everybody has bad days, but I am a firm believer that even though every day is not a good day overall or on the whole, there is good and goodness in every single day. And that's what you need to focus on, and that's what you need to live with in your middle. And your middle can come with lots of different things. I don't just mean the beginning, the middle, and the end of your life. I mean the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything you do. You'll have a beginning, a middle, and an end of raising your children. You will have a beginning, a middle, and an end of your job, your first job, your second job, your career, however many jobs you have. You'll have a beginning, a middle, and an end of owning a new vehicle, of buying or building a new house or a different house, of all the things you do. You will always have a place to start. It will always have to come to an end someday. And that space in the middle is what you need to make wholesome and good and something that brings you so much happiness. Because what else do we have at the end of the day? No one else is going to say, hey, it is my job and my duty to make sure you are happy every single day. Yes, we have good friends who bring us joy. Yes, we have good friends who are there for us when we need them. But it is up to us to do things that make us happy. And the way we do that is not just by finding things that are easy to do, Because sometimes what's easy to do isn't all that meaningful. Sometimes what's easy to do may be good and bring us joy in the moment, but then after it's over, we think, well, that was pretty easy. That was pretty simple. It wasn't very difficult to do. I don't think I've grown as a person. So don't just find the easy things to do. Find the meaningful things to do. Find the challenging things to do that once you do them, you have such a sense of pride and accomplishment because you have achieved them and you've worked through them and you've gotten through them that you end up feeling really proud of yourself and really happy, because that is definitely something worth doing with your middle. And so as you keep listening and as you implement this in your life, I want to say, well, so maybe the lesson isn't to search for the middle or to fear the end, but to wake up inside the story, right where you are, and live as if this page of your life, if this season of your life, if this middle portion of your life matters so much, because it absolutely does. You won't always know when it's the last time. You won't always know when the last instance is about to show up and maybe make you really sad or uncomfortable or upset. You won't know when the last time is the last time. But that doesn't mean you can't treat every time like it's the only one that matters. If you treat every single moment and every single part of your life like it matters and find ways to make sure you feel like it matters and it is meaningful and it is bringing you the types of things you want it to bring you, if you spend your time making sure each moment feels that way and is that way, think of how beautiful of a life you can carve out of the single and solitary moments that just keep happening one right after the other. Give generously, love and laugh loudly, hold gently, speak honestly, stand up for yourself, and do things and put things forward in this world that you want to leave as a legacy. Stick to your guns, as the saying goes. Stand your ground and stand up for what you believe in, because at the end of the day, you should bring yourself happiness and you should surround yourself with integrity. And as you march forward, you should keep that integrity alive by doing things and standing up for the things that you feel and know are right and meaningful and correct, and that make you feel happy and proud and dignified and good about yourself and about the things that you're doing. Because, there's a quote. It escapes me who it's by, but it says, how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. Think about that. How we spend our days is naturally how we spend our lives, because we live moment to moment. So start spending the moments the way you want to. Start spending the moments the way that you will feel good about when you go to bed at night. And if you like the person you were when you go to bed, wake up and do it all over again and be the same kind of person in the morning. I've been thinking a lot lately also about having a full cup. I've used the analogy before, make sure your cup is full and it's so full that it overflows, and then give the overflow to other people. But the one caveat to that is you need to make sure your cup is full of good things and things you appreciate and you find meaningful and good. Because if it's not, if your cup is full of resentment, if your cup is full of overcommitment, if your cup is just full right to the top with all these things that you've piled in it, and that's what's inside your cup, that when you tip it over and tip it out, that's what will spill out, and that's what you'll be giving to other people. So make sure that the goodness and the clarity that you need to spend your time on good things is present and is there, and fill your cup up with the things that make you happy and the things that make you feel like you're doing the right thing and doing a good job and that you're on the right track. And it won't always be easy, but fill yourself up with good things. Fill your cup up that way. Surround yourself with people who will keep putting that type of thing into your cup instead of putting burned out and depleted and overbearing things in your cup. So when that spills over, that's what other people just naturally absorb because it's spilled all over them. So here, my friends, as we wrap up, here is my hope for you. Please don't wait for clarity about the middle. There is no one that's going to hold up a sign telling you exactly what to do while you're in the middle. We have to figure it out as we go, and it is up to you to figure it out for your life, because every single person is different. There won't be a blinking banner out in left center field at the baseball game. There won't be a road map or a road sign every time you drive somewhere. No one is going to lay out the middle of your life or the middle of your events or the middle of everything you walk through in this world. No one's going to lay out the middle for you and give you big blinking arrows to tell you when it's the middle. And as you do that, don't hold your breath for the final chapter either. Don't worry and fret about when it's going to end, because if you live well in the moment, if you live well and love well and chase the things you find meaningful, and you work on yourself in the moment and in the middle, then every moment you have will be spent doing something that is building you a meaningful life. Moment to moment and day to day, you will be building yourself and your relationships and cultivating friendships and relationships with other people and bringing yourself to a truly beautiful place in your life. And if you do that with every moment, if you do that in the middle, then even if the end shows up out of the blue, you won't have resentment and regret and say, oh gosh, if I had only done X, Y, and Z, if I had only said X, Y, and Z, I wish I said this more, I wish I visited this person more, I wish I did this more. If you live moment to moment and make each moment important and treat it like it matters and understand that the present is all we have to work on. We can't go back to the past. We can't jump ahead to the future. Work on those moments and enjoy them. Tell the people you love that you love them. Work on the things that you want to work on. Reach for your goals. Chase your dreams. Set up the things you want to set up to find your focus and find your purpose and keep walking towards them. Basically, just live on purpose. I think so many people, myself included when I was younger, just drift through life and kind of figure out what happens when they show up in that one specific spot. But live on purpose. Aim your ship where you want it to go. Steer yourself towards the destination you want to get to, and every single day that you do that, you will be that much closer to where you want to be. And make sure when you look back, you live in a way that you'll see a story that felt full. Not because you always knew what was coming next, but because you showed up anyway. We won't always know what the next moment looks like. We won't always know when the end is going to show up. We won't always know when the next new beginning is on the horizon and right around the corner. But if you live on purpose and you show up for yourself and for your loved ones and for the things in your life that are important and meaningful, that will build you such a beautiful existence as you walk yourself through this life. I hope you find joy today, my friends, in listening. I hope you find joy every single day. Live presently. Find those moments to celebrate. Work on yourself. Work on the things that make you happy. And as always, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for tuning in to Todd Talk. If you've liked what you've heard, please go ahead and subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any updates or new episodes. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.